Welcome, Utah wrestling fans. We're here. I'm here at the Legacy Event Center. We're getting ready for the Christmas Clash tournament. But before we get the tournament, we're gonna do a little rankings podcast. We have Ben Gosser with us today, one of our ranking experts, ranking gurus, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be trying to do these rankings podcasts, as best we can weekly, where we just touch on rankings, why we rank people the way we did. Where they're ranked, some exciting things coming up with tournaments as well. So that's what we're doing today. But first, a couple of announcements. We have Rec League State. We did change criteria on the Rec League State. So in the past, it's been a date. So the date was 9/1 of 17. You can't have competed in a tournament prior to that. But we were having some questions, some issues. So kind of what we decided to change it to was 2 years of experience or 2 seasons of experience. So this season is 1 season, so you can't have competed in more than 1 season prior to this season. So if you wrestled 3 years ago and then quit and then come back and this is your 2nd season, then you're still eligible, which is I think is a good change and hopefully will be for everybody. So Rec League State on Friday, capping it at 650 kids. So get registered. If you want your name on the back of the tournament t-shirt, you need to be registered by Sunday. Also, Utah Battle Royale is on the 22nd. So Rec League State 21st, Battle Royale 22nd. Singlets for the winners, champ in the regular and beginner division. So anyways, that's enough for announcements. We're going to get started right into the rankings. Ben, you've been helping with the rankings for quite some time, and now you've kind of taken over that lead. How is it doing the rankings?
Stressful. I mean, I honestly don't even want to do this podcast because then people will bug me at the tournaments and ask me why I didn't rank their kid higher.
Right. So it is stressful, and it's good, though. It's fun. People appreciate it. People like it. So we're going to get started. We're going to start with power polls. So power polls are rankings, independent of classification, and 1 through 8. We're just going to start at 106 and kind of go through the line. Ben, give us your breakdown. 106, super tough weight to rank. A lot of this person beat this person, but kind of give us your quick breakdown on 106 and 113.
So 106 was tough this week because prior to based off of the last week's ranking, in that week, number 1 had beat number 2, and number 2 had beaten number 3, and number 3 had beat number 4 twice. And then Bridger Ricks, who was number 4, comes in and beats the number 1 guy. And so,
well, on top of all of that, you have Byron Christiansen, who's undefeated, right? Yeah. I think. I mean, and he'll be at the Clash, so we'll get a better look at him. But yeah, that's 106 is a mess. Quade Smith beat Will Korth last night, so that kind of solidifies him as, I guess, ahead of Will Korth at least at number 1.
Well, and Korth beat Ricks twice, which puts it firmly ahead of Ricks. And Brock Morris kind of got the short end of the stick because he lost a tight match in Wasatch and goes from 1 to 4 just because that was the last thing that happened.
Right, and then you have Bearden in there. You have like I said, Christiansen, Ward, and Sear of Highland. I think your 1 through 4, I think, are your top 4 right now. But I mean, Christiansen comes and wins the Clash. Now maybe he's starting to have an argument to break that top 4.
Yeah. Well, and you also have kids like Lucas Carrillo who haven't wrestled at 106 yet, but will. And yeah. I know he's wrestled Brock Morris 7,000 times at practice and other places, and they know each other well. And so I know Lucas will be there eventually. It's just a matter of when.
When, right. And 113?
113, it's also hard because the strength of schedule that Cole Jensen wrestles and what Denham wrestles isn't really the same. Cole's wrestling a lot of ranked kids. He beat Herrera, he beat Lanning, and so he was in the same bracket. I don't think he met up with Aiden Harris at LIT, but they've been some of the same places. and Denham was at Panguitch, and then he was at Juab where he saw Mac Bray, but he didn't. That's it. And so it's kind of tough to rank those two and compare those two. And so hopefully we find that the answer to who's better next month.
Yeah, I mean, you have Denham and Cole, and you pretty much take it to the bank. That match is happening at the All-Stars, unless, for example, one of them gets beat or something stumbles before the All-Stars. But that match will happen at the All-Stars. I don't see that not happening. The other person at 13, you have Carson Whitney. So I hear he's going down to 106, so that can mix things up at 106. But 113. I do think Cole Jensen and Marco Herrera will both be at Reno, I think, which maybe they meet up at Reno and maybe Herrera beats Jensen, maybe Jensen beats Herrera. But, if they don't meet up, Jensen-Torgerson All-Star match, probably a featured match, center mat. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Give us your breakdown, 120, 126.
Rivers the guy at 120. I mean, he beat Frazier twice, pinned Frazier twice. Wardle pinned Cooper Cox yesterday. None of them. I don't think anybody's wrestled Jacob Finlinson. And honestly, at the Millard Ironman, Maverick Caldwell impressed me as much as anyone with his ability to come out and just take it to people who on paper before that were probably technically better than him, at least from a record standpoint and what the results are.
Now, Brian Evans, he's been talked about in the comments a little bit. Why wasn't he higher? Now, Brian Evans, he lost earlier this season.
Yeah, he lost to Lane Shepard at the
and so that's why he's a little bit lower. Like you said, this weekend at the Clash, 120 could change some things around.
Yeah.
You have some tough kids at 120. Finlinson will be there. Frazier will be there. But Wardle's on a tear. Like, he's pinning everybody. Like, it's just crazy how good he's doing. And we can talk more about him at the BHAF Top 25. But 26.
Cub Dietz is the number one guy. And there's a lot of arguments here. Bray and Jorgensen haven't met. Dietz and Bray could have met last week, but Dietz didn't wrestle for Uinta at Juab. Rhett Minor comes in and jumps a whole bunch of people. Gabe Sanders jumped some people, and John Evans dropped out because he beat Slack. And so it's tough to rank kids.
Well, this is a tough weight. Definitely I think Cub Dietz gets your top spot like you have it. Van Bray, Jarrett Jorgensen, I agree with you on this one because Jorgensen lost to Declan Kelly, so that's kind of his black eye there, which gives Van Bray the nod. After that, though, I mean, people could argue Gabe Sanders, is he really a 5? Channing Warner's an 8. Channing beat Gabe Sanders every time they wrestled last year. But obviously last year's last year, this year's this year, and you have to go up this year. So that weight, I see that weight shifting, still, John Evans might get in there, and I see a lot of shifting going on in the next couple of weeks there.
Yeah, and so I am 90% sure that I coached the match with Channing and Sanders at the All-Star Duel. Channing's pretty dominant. But Gabe didn't look the same as he did last year. Not saying that Channing does. Channing looks dang good too. And I might be wrong. I mean, that's the thing. I might be wrong. This is one guy. This is my opinion and your opinion combined. And so if we're wrong, we're wrong.
Right.
So go.
No, I mean, right now, I think it's good. I like the ranking 32, 38. What we got there?
So Ingram beat Denton, and so he kind of went higher. Armstrong, I don't know if I've ever seen Caleb Armstrong wrestle, but he beats everybody.
Well, he had a couple and I could be wrong. Last year he had a couple losses, if I remember right. But he, like you said, he's winning. He wins.
Yeah. I mean, lots of people were talking about Riley Helt, and Riley Helt traveled all over in the fall and won lots of matches at big tournaments, and him and Armstrong didn't, on at least the box score that I see on track. Armstrong kind of took it to him. He beat Mortimer in what I hear was a tight back and forth match. Ayott's number one, and Ayotte will be number one till somebody knocks him off. Haywood dropped a match up at 138, and then I think he missed a couple matches. I don't know if he got hurt or what happened. We talked earlier about people talking to me, and I was informed yesterday that Quentin Mortimer's never lost to Connor Ingram in his life, and they've wrestled 7,000 times. And so,
but again, that's past. I mean, that's in the past. Where this year, Connor Ingram has a great win over Mason Denton. Mortimer this year hasn't really had. Has he had? I mean, he wrestled Armstrong this year, right, and lost.
Yeah.
So
he wrestled Armstrong in the finals of the Salem tournament, and went undefeated at 132 up at the Wasatch Duels.
But what people don't understand is, you may have won and beat this kid your whole life, but this is a new year, and rankings are at this point, rankings are based on this season. Yeah, obviously preseason rankings are different.
But
so I like the rankings. I actually like Scott Robertson to move up in the rankings here at 32. You have him at number 6 right now. I think he'll move up, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him at number 3 shortly. That's my prediction. So 38.
38. Well, you have OG Stockbone at the top of the rankings, right where he belongs.
So here, real quick. So word has it Tyson Humphreys and Terrell Bearclough are moving down to 32, 38. I don't know if that's gonna be a permanent move.
Well,
I don't know.
At Viewmont, Mehmet's at 45, and Brand's at 52, and so I think that's probably that's a strong indication of what's going to happen. Bearclough and Humphreys aren't in the lineup for Leighton at Viewmont, and that'll change stuff. I mean, Stockton and Terrell wrestled 3 or 4 times, and Terrell beat him last year every time. So,
well, and I like at 38. Cole Zorn, I can see him possibly bumping up to 45. Yeah. I like Riker Boyce at 38. Seems like he's wrestling well from what I've been told. And you have Farnsworth, Bowden, Lee, and Hone. I think that could change a little bit. In the future.
And Hone's registered at 132 at Viewmont, so that might change stuff.
45.
Where he goes at 132. So
right.
145. If Terrell's the guy right now, he owns the win in the LIT finals over Zach. If he goes down, Zach's the guy. And then Hayden Anderson is number 3 right now. He beat Cade Bowering twice this year so far. And then there's Carson Sheets, and he hasn't wrestled either of those two. And then Essig, Parker, who just moved down to 50 from 52, and then Brock Lovelace.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty straightforward, I think, there. And at 52, Lowry is your clear number 1.
Yeah.
Dart, that's a tough one because he lost at 160.
Yeah, he lost to Cameron Eden, and Cameron Eden's a good wrestler. And then Jace isn't registered for Viewmont, and he didn't wrestle all the matches at Wasatch, so I don't know what's going on with him. And then you have Jeremy Evans, who is at Viewmont.
Here's a question. Jeremy Evans wins Viewmont. Do you jump him over Dart?
I don't know.
You look at Dart lost to Cameron Eden, and Eden's tough, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Eden down at 52 soon because I've heard all Syracuse is dropping. And so if Eden drops to 52, kind of what does that do to Dart's stock?
Well, it would obviously drop, and I don't know. Like if Dart's hurt, then that changes stuff.
Yeah.
With the power pole, we wanted to be a snapshot of right now, this week.
Right.
And so if he's hurt and it's long term, then he might drop out, and then we'll put him back in where he deserves based on the results then. And I know that there are some dads who aren't happy with that, but still got the Beehive 25 for those kids.
Well, and here's the thing, with the power poles, if they're going to be hurt if they're coming back, like we know they're coming back in the next week, I think it's one thing. But if we don't have a return date, I don't think they can stay in. Like you take Keegan Wilkinson at heavyweight. I mean, I've been told multiple things. January, I've been told, February, I've been told everything. I don't think it's right to keep him in when, one, he hasn't wrestled, and two, we don't know when he's coming back. Like, if we know they're coming back, they'll be back this week, then let's put him in. But,
and one example of that, we'll talk about at 182, is Mason Christiansen. When Mason comes, when he comes back, or when McKay Foy comes back, they're going in at number 1.
Right.
Right. If McKay Foy comes back at and is wrestling 160, then he's going in at number 1.
Right.
And Christiansen's doing the same thing.
Right.
An example at 160, which we're going to talk about next, Gus Dalton's back in the rankings. He cross wrestled the first duel of the season, and Gus tore his shoulder out of socket. Thought he was going to have surgery, but he's back, so he goes back in where.
And he'll be tested this weekend, so we'll see exactly where he ends up. So, 170 or 160, sorry. Riley Noble, Jackson Moore. Jackson's is having a great season.
Yes,
he's bonus pointing everybody, and I don't know. Is he at Viewmont this weekend, or is he taking the weekend off?
He's taking the weekend off, according to the records. I watched Jackson Moore wrestle at the Cowboy Open. Before the season started, and he's doing the same things to college kids.
Oh wait, so Jackson Moore wrestled at the Cowboy? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he wrestled at the Cowboy Open, and I don't know if I don't think he won a match, but he was. The one match that I watched, his second match, was like 15-14, and he reversed the kid to his back 2 or 3 times, and doing the same thing to college kids that he does to high school kids on the mat. Him and Noble will be a fun match when we see it. Yeah.
170, Isaac Wilcox, he's number 1. And quite frankly, he's probably the best kid in Utah right now from what I've, he just committed to Ohio State.
Oh.
He announced that on his Instagram, I do believe. So, exciting for him. Congratulations to Isaac, and he's our number 1. Any thoughts at 170?
It'll be interesting. You have Bolingbroke and Carter and Jackson and all and Braden Guthrie, who's moving down, all at Viewmont. So that'll be fun. Holland Knutson, who's been a 2-time state finalist, is down at 60 at Viewmont.
Is he?
So that'll change.
Jay Frost, has he wrestled yet this year?
He wrestled, like I said, he wrestled Gus Dalton.
Oh, okay, yes.
He tore Gus's shoulder up, and Jay hurt his hip. I don't think those two should ever wrestle each other again, because apparently it's a bad combination.
Right.
Gus is back. Gus has been back on the mat. I talked to Jay at Layton, and he thought he'd be back after Layton, but he hasn't wrestled yet, so I don't know.
182. Now this is a tough one for you, and
yeah,
I helped you with this ranking. I know that because obviously your son's in this one. Parker's number 1. He beat Lucas Cochran this week. Parker's only lost is to Alec Bolingbroke, and it was a tight match, and then Parker got hurt. But I think that's pretty clear. And the other one, Merrill Morley beat Austin Winterton last night, so that would definitely change that ranking. And then Riker Blackburn, 15-0 on the season. He'll be at Viewmont. That will be interesting to see how he does.
Yeah, he'll be at Viewmont. Cochran will be at Viewmont. Faust will be at Viewmont. Hunter Schroeder from Mountain Crest is down at 182. at Viewmont. 182 will be fun at Viewmont.
That'll be a good one. 195, Cooper Legas, top guy for sure. I'm not sure that anybody challenges him at 195, but other than that, newcomer Zach Warren and Cash Robb new to the rankings. Give us your thoughts on 195.
The big question mark for me at 195 is what Whitaker Miller does. He's wrestled at 195. He's wrestled at 220. He beat Bowen Shields. I think he pinned Bowen Shields in a duel at 195. He's been ranked pretty high. He's number one. He was number one up until this week at 220. So what he does is the big question mark for me at 195.
What I would kind of like to see, and I need to talk to their coach, but I would like to see Whitaker at 195 for the All-Stars against Cooper Legas, and then possibly Cade Carlson and Micah Tautioli at 220 as another. And then granted, we might see Micah and Cade this weekend at Viewmont. They may wrestle, but I don't know that I would be good watching that one twice, I think.
Or 3 times.
Right. And at 220, we've kind of touched on 220 with Callan Whitaker and Cade Carlson. Now, it's been posted. The comment's been posted, so we'll just throw it out there. Cade Carlson ranked number 1 over Callan Whitaker. Callan beat Cade last year at the All-Stars. Beat him handily. Wasn't even close. Kind of give us your thoughts on that change in the ranking.
Well, that was last year. And honestly, it might happen. It might happen if they wrestle again. But Cade Carlson just went and took 5th at the Walsh Ironman, and it's one of the toughest high school tournaments, toughest in-season high school tournament, and he placed 5th. I know he's been doing a lot of work. I've seen him at RTC practices quite a bit, and so Cade might have jumped levels, but him and Callan might be a good match still. I don't know.
Well, I know Cade beat him in the offseason. Obviously, offseason, I don't give much, credit to that win just because you never know what happens in the offseason, right? But I agree with this. Cade came 5th at the Walsh Ironman. You got to give him some credit for doing that. And Callan and Cade may meet up. If Callan's at 220, maybe that's the All-Star match. Kind of give Callan's ranked below him, but Cade lost to him. So kind of both of them have something in that match. But I like the ranking here. 285, Gunn number 1. I think, again, that's a clear number 1 right now.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts there? I mean,
I don't see anybody challenging him right now. He beat John Hunt at LIT. He'll see John Hunt this weekend. He beat Carson Kay at the Wasatch tournament. Carson was undefeated at Millard, and it's just Carson's only loss on the year was to the Provo kid, and the Provo kid weighed 305 pounds.
Right, that's an exhibition.
So,
but he should be the Provo kid Tomasi. He should be down to weight this weekend. It's the plan, at least. He should be at the Clash. So, anyway, those are power polls. Let's quickly individual top 25. Give us any surprises, newcomers, your thoughts on the top 25.
So there surprises. I think the only surprises would be the movement of Cade Carlson and River Wardle. They jumped quite a bit. River's a whole new beast at 120 than he was at 106, and he won the Rumble at 106.
He's pinned everybody this year. Not one single match has gone the distance, right?
Yeah, and watching him against the other kids in his weight, he's never out of position. He's just beating them soundly.
And Cade, obviously, the jump, the Walsh Ironman. Sammy Haywood dropped because of his loss. And other than that, pretty steady. Scott Robertson jumped up a couple spots. And then your newcomers, you have Cole Jensen and Jackson Moore that came in. So those are both good ones. Any team top 25? Anything we need to go over there?
Well, I'm pretty sure there's some people in Heber that aren't very happy that they're at number 5.
Well, they almost lost to Maple Mountain last night, didn't they?
Well, it was close. Maple Mountain forfeit at 112 and 138.
Which still is blowing my mind how they're forfeiting so much.
Me too, every day. And they wrestled, and so it came down to one match, basically. Porter Chamberlain didn't wrestle at 182. He had some skin issues that he's got to get cleared up for Reno. So that would have been a different match. But other than that, it was a pretty bad duel. I think every match but 126 was a pin, and I would have lots rather see some better matchups.
Right. Syracuse dropped. They had a tough weekend.
They did.
But hopefully we'll see Christmas Clash. We'll see if they can get back on track and move back up the rankings. Let's hit tournament preview. So let's start with Viewmont. We've done 2 tournament previews. We did Viewmont. We did Christmas Clash. Now, we did not do Desert Storm because we have not gotten the information for it. So, I guess if tournament directors are listening, send us your information. Send us logins so we can see rosters, so we can see teams, so we can get these previews out. We want to do previews more, but we need information from the tournament. And if we can't get in touch with you, then obviously we can't do a preview. So we wanted to do Desert Storm, but we weren't able to get the information in time, or we still haven't got it. So we did Viewmont and we did Clash. So I actually have not read the Viewmont preview yet, but so give us your thoughts on the Viewmont preview. What to look for? What's exciting about that one?
To me, the team race could be very exciting. I mean, you have a latent team without 4 starters. Honestly, they could still be in the mix with the team race. You have Payson, Mountain Crest.
Well, Layton, they might be. Tatum Bennett might be in the lineup this weekend. It looks like
he's on the roster,
so that could give him a boost.
Yeah, I mean they're still going to challenge at 126. They're going to challenge at 52, at 60, at 70, at 82, at 95. That they have people who can compete and maybe make the finals in all of those weights if they wrestle well. And so they're still in the team race. Payson will be there, and Mountain Crest will be there, and that'll foreshadow what might happen come February. Box Elder's still tough. Trevor Murray's back in the Box Elder lineup. Viewmont's there. Pleasant Grove's there with a limited lineup. They don't have very many guys, but they'll still win quite a few matches.
Looking at this preview, the weights I'm most excited about, obviously 220, Cade Carlson, Micah Tautioli. Micah just coming back. Will he be ready for the competition? Cade's obviously looking really good. And so that's a matchup that I'm excited about. 170, Alec Bolingbrook, Jake Jackson, Braden Guthrie, and then Tyson Carter, add him in the mix. I mean, excited to see how that works. Jake Jackson is doing well this year. Can he continue to climb? And then also 182 with Lucas Cochran and Riker Blackburn mostly there. I'm excited to see kind of how Riker Blackburn can do. So those are my favorite weights, just looking at this briefly. But it should be fun. Viewmont should be fun. Christmas Clash. What are the things to look for? What should people be paying attention to there?
The heavyweights. There's, I think, 6 guys who've been ranked or are close to being ranked.
Herring, Tomasi, Sackett, Daw, Iloa, Caden Montana, and Justin Swainston. There's a lot. That is a tough one.
And so that should be a good matchup. 120 should be pretty good. And the thing with that tournament, you have a pretty solid Spring Creek, Nevada team.
Really solid.
That could throw a cog in the works of what the Utah guys want to do.
Right. Spring Creek, I was looking through their lineup as I was working on the seats, and they got hammers in some of those weights. I mean, and I don't remember all their weights, but they're tough. I think they'll be in the team race.
They should be. I mean, they've got a good thing going over there with the Battleborn Academy.
Yeah,
wrestling a lot, coming through and traveling a lot. I think they were in Evanston, Wyoming last week.
Got it.
And so they're doing the right things. 120 should be fun. It'll be interesting to watch what happens there with Frazier and Finlayson. Should be some challenging matches for those.
Then you got Cedillo and Monson.
Yeah,
both of them could be surprises to people. I think they're going to be right there in the mix. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 deep. I mean, you have Clayton Lunt from Idaho State champ, Dylan Moore, Shepard, Finlayson, Cedillo, Monson, and Frazier. That's a pretty top heavy weight. That's a good one.
126 has a bunch of solid kids too.
Not as star power, not as much star power,
but evenly matched. I mean,
right, deeper.
Jansen and Clyde and Butler on the map. Butler's beat some good kids. Plus, not to mention Slack and Kelly.
Right. No, Slack will not be there.
Okay.
So he was registered, but they pulled him out today, so he won't be there. But definitely those two weights, would be the 20, 26 and heavy, would be good ones.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a preview for Clash. The winning team gets 14 brand new singlets, custom made for their school, which is exciting for the teams that are there vying for a win. Orem won it last year. I'm just going to put in a little plug here. Orem won it last year, went from 19 teams to 31 this year. Our goals are to continue growing the Clash and making it get bigger and better every year. So anyways, that was our rankings podcast. We hope to be back next week with brand new rankings, brand new podcast, Google Hangout, and update you guys on that. If you have any suggestions on the rankings, things we can do better, things you'd like to see, please don't hesitate to let us know. And we will see you guys next week.